Hi guys, welcome to Nerdbytes, and this is going to be my spoiler review of Ant-Man. So, I've just gone and seen Ant-Man. I apologise for this review being a little bit late. I was on holiday, obviously, when the film came out, so it's a couple of days late, but I'm reviewing it right now. It's going to be spoiler-filled, so if you haven't seen the film yet, go and see it, and then watch this video afterwards on what I thought of it. It takes a while to get its traction going. I think at least the first 40 minutes, it takes a while to get the ball rolling with this story, but once it gets going, it is really good fun. So I honestly do suggest persevering with it, because it is fun. The first bit they kick in with, they don't screw around. It's back in 1987, I think it is, back when S.H.I.E.L.D. is fully fledged with Stark in charge of it. Hank Pym comes in, he's angry because they're trying to use the Pym particle to weaponise it, and obviously he's saying, no, I don't want that. And again, it fills in a lot of the gaps. It's really good. You can see everything unravelling, and I'm really glad that they put this little bit into it. The story bases around, obviously, Hank Pym, his daughter Hope, and Scott Lang, a guy from prison that has just got out of prison, and Hank Pym is interested in him. He goes to rob the suit, although he doesn't know it's the suit when he goes to rob it. Later we figure out that Hank Pym actually set the whole thing up so that Scott Lang could rob him and see if he could actually rob the suit successfully to find out whether or not he's the right guy for the job. The story's about redemption more than anything else. He's trying to redeem having access to his daughter. Obviously his missus isn't letting that happen, but he needs this job. He needs to make himself earn the respect and redemption and everything that he deserves. The comedy is more or less from his associates more than him. There's still plenty of Paul Rudd comedy in this, but most of the comedy is coming from his friends. The scenes of him trying to learn to use the suit, try and get through the keyhole was truly quite fun, and he had to learn to control the ants, again putting sugar cubes in the tea, that was quite interesting. Every time that he shrank down underneath the ground, he had to learn the different ants and what they did and all this kind of stuff. Again, it's very out there, absolutely out there, but you know, if we can get through Guardians of the Galaxy and enjoy it, we can get through this and enjoy it. I'm totally invested in Marvel, as you well know, but it was out there. But I still sat back going, it's fine. I don't mind this being a little bit crazy, because comic books, you know, they have that kind of crazy out there moments, and I'm glad that they're finally bringing that into the cinema and not thinking that it is an embarrassment. They're thinking, let's just do this properly. Let's show that we can do it, and they did do pretty well with it. The first at least the first third, maybe the first half of the movie is them putting together the plan for the heist to go into cross technology, steal the Yellow Jacket and destroy the facility. Obviously that's how the characters interact with each other more as the film goes on. I really quite enjoyed the interaction between Hank Pym, his daughter Hope, and Scott Lang as well. I really liked the Hank Pym character, because Michael Douglas just does a good job. He's a hell of an actor anyway, and the fact that we knew he had a nice little backstory with him and his wife, which is obviously the original Wasp. She ended up dying to save the world because she shrank too small with the molecules, and obviously you keep shrinking and shrinking and shrinking until there's nothing left, and obviously she saved the world. It was nice to see a backstory. I wanted to see a backstory of the original Ant-Man and Wasp teaming up together. I liked that, it was good, and you know, anything from the comics that they just sprinkle into their own story, I always enjoy. During them building up towards the heist, they had to get a few things. They got Ant-Man to take off and take something from a Stark building, an old Tony Stark building, and obviously as the clouds part, you can see that it is the Avenger facility that we saw at the end of Age of Ultron, and he's, you know, radioing back to say, no, it's not abandoned. He goes in anyway, and he runs into the Falcon. That's right, Falcon cameos in this, and it's not just a small cameo either, it's a pretty big one. They throw down, they have a big fight, it's really quite interesting, quite fun, and it's giving it a good reason for why they would want Ant-Man on the team of the Avengers. It's getting the ball rolling to eventually him teaming up with them in Infinity War. And it was a good fight, it was good fun, really quite enjoyed that. The heist itself was good, I really quite enjoyed it. He had his friends being like security guards and using their own different ways to help him make sure he got into the building with his ants, using Hope and using Hank Pym as well. Those two were with Darren Cross as part of the demonstration of Yellow Jacket, and they go in and then they figure out that he's actually got some buyers in Hydra, or you know, with old Hydra or whatever it is. And I had a feeling that Hydra might come into this at some point. I'm glad that it did, because it gives that kind of more of an evil twist to this character Darren Cross that we don't really know. He's a one-off villain, but the fact that he was going towards Hydra rather than S.H.I.E.L.D. is a good thing. I liked it, developed his character a little bit better, I quite like that. And as they're demonstrating it, the heist is going on for him to steal the Yellow Jacket. He tries to get to it, and just out of time, and the jacket falls away, and Darren Cross has it in his little vial, and then he's trapped the Ant-Man while he's threatening Hank Pym and Hope as well. Stuff goes down, Hank gets shot, and he ends up being able to burst out, a few punches here and there. Darren Cross runs off with his associates, and then he has to go, and basically Ant-Man has to go after him. Just as Darren Cross is about to get away in the helicopter, Ant-Man comes out with all these ants attacking him. He ends up killing one of the ants that Ant-Man kind of got attached to, which gets him angry. He gets into the helicopter. They have a massive fight with both suits, sizing up, sizing down. The way they put that kind of stuff together was really good. The perspective each time was really quite awesome. The last part of the fight, they fall out, they're in the suitcase, and the suitcase is falling down while music is playing on the iPhone. It falls down into a pool of someone's garden. They get out, they have another quick scrap, and then he knocks Yellow Jacket into the fly swatter thingy in the corner. And then you think that's the end of it. Ant-Man gets arrested by the police and taken away. You think that's the end of Yellow Jacket, but it isn't. He's still alive, and then it goes off to basically take Ant-Man's daughter hostage. Ant-Man has to get out, get over to his daughter's house, and then they have another massive fight in her bedroom on her train set, like you saw in the trailers, but obviously more elaborated because of the film. And it was just awesome. Again, with the way they were sizing up and sizing down and using their powers, the way they were displaying it was just really well put together, and it was still funny as well. They had little funny moments in it and everything. It was good. It was really quite interesting, and I enjoyed the fight. It was smaller than what an Avengers film would be, but it was still enjoyable. Last part of the fight, finally he has to shrink down to like really small molecule size to stop his suit, break the Yellow Jacket's suit, which works. Yellow Jacket shrinks to nothing, and you think that's the end of both of them. Then you've got Ant-Man going through this like thing where he's shrinking and shrinking and shrinking, going through all this time and space, and everything's all screwed up. Hank Pym talking over like a monologue over the top, saying this is, you don't know what's going on. Again, it's very out there, but still quite enjoyable. And then finally he managed to sort out one of those little discs that Hank Pym gave him that sized things up. He got that, put it into the belt, pressed the button, and he was able to resize to normal. And that was basically the end of that fight, which was awesome. You've got a final scene with Hank Pym, Hope, and Ant-Man. They're just talking, and then he sees the two of them kissing. Then he leaves and he goes, "You're full of shit." He goes, "Yep, I know." And that's the way they end. Again, quite fun. Then one of the final scenes is him talking, like having dinner with his ex-missus, the new guy, and his daughter, and they're bonding with the daughter. Cheesy moments, you know, up and down, but a good way, kind of a nice wholesome way to end it. Then he gets a phone call from his associate saying it's work. He goes and talks to his mate. His mate gives him an elaborate talk about the next mission, and he's like, "Just wrap it up, tell me what happens." And as he's talking, what he's explaining is that Falcon is actually looking for Ant-Man. He's trying to find him so he can recruit him for the Avengers. During this whole talking thing, they briefly mention Spider-Man. It's like we got Red Crawlers. It's like, that's confirmed Spider-Man, absolutely. So I'm glad they just do little things, little tidbits like that. It's always good fun. And then at the very end, his mate just goes, "Yeah," which basically means they want him as an Avenger. They're trying to recruit him, and it's good because it's leading into the Civil War. End credit scenes. We've got two end credit scenes. The first one is Hank Pym talking to Hope about him and her mother and blah blah blah, building a suit. Then he opens up the door and there is the new Wasp suit, the yellow Wasp suit built for her, and he said, "I think we were building it for you," and she got about damn time, and that's the end of that credit scene. Awesome, means that we're going to get Ant-Man and Wasp with the Avengers, which is going to be kick-ass, because I was worried that that wasn't going to happen with Hank Pym being old, but how they're passing it down to the daughter was great, and I'm glad that we're hopefully going to see those two with the Avengers at some point. And the final end credit scene, right at the end of the credits, was Falcon and Captain America. They have found and captured the Winter Soldier. His left arm is put inside this contraption so he can't move. They're talking. It's in like a bunker, so no one else is around, and they're talking about saying that they don't want Stark to find out, because obviously Winter Soldier killed Stark's dad back in the day. And I think this is how that Cap and Iron Man are going to have this conflict. It's going to be due to the Winter Soldier. Then Falcon basically goes, "I know a guy," which is obviously Ant-Man, and that's the end of that credit scene. It builds it again, it's pushing it into the Civil War, it's keeping all these characters tied together, and I thought it was awesome, and it was a good end credit scene. So overall, I enjoyed this film. Wasn't the best film I've ever seen, but by no means the worst. It was a fun heist film. It had comedy, it had action, it had good characters. It was quite out there, but it was still quite a fun film. And the end credit scenes, both of them were pretty damn awesome as well. So what did you think about Ant-Man? Did you like it? Did you not like it? Let me know down in the comments or send me an email. You can also find me on the various social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, or you can find me on moviepilot.com. Just type in Nerd Bites and I'm sure you'll find me. And of course, keep it nerdy.